3-year-old Yugioh with Gage. He's going to be showing us Rock Stun, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, let's get into it. And 1 minute, make sure to check out his channel. You want to say it? You want to say your channel?
YouTube.com/GageXScapegoat. G-A-G-E-X Scapegoat.
Okay, let's get into it.
Alright, so this deck is not like typical Rock Stun because a lot of people try to play Rock Stun like for the Fire Fist OTK version. And while it's very powerful, it's really bad in this format because you have so many like main decked ways like Winda and not main decked, Winda's not main decked, but like there's so many ways to stop OTKs, really slow down your opponent, like Valkyris and Winda and El Shaddai and all that bullshit. So I don't feel like that's a good option. Plus, I really like negating shit, so I play like actual Rock Stun. So 3 overloads, doesn't know what it does. Negates a monster summon the way that Thunder King Ryo does, but it negates normal summons too. So great card. Of course, you got the 3 Guardians, which is amazing. It's a Divine Wrath. All Cookie Mirrors are 19 by 12, so having a 1900 beater that negates shit is really great, especially whenever it's monster summons and monster effects. You got the 3 walls. Amazing versus Necros, amazing versus Dolls, amazing versus Klee. Not the best versus Burning Abyss. That's because against BA you just keep this in your hand and use it for the infinite showing it end phase fodder. I did choose to run the 3 Sandman, Enter Sandman as I call him. The card's really good, even in the matchups where traps aren't as relevant. Like I said, you keep it in your hand so that way you always have something in hand. You don't have to worry about like summoning this guy or anything, so you'll always have something in hand. 1 Dyna, I hate running 1, I absolutely hate running 1, but every time I would like open 2, draw 2, it would just piss me off. It'd be like opening multiple emptinesses, or like having an emptiness with 1 face up or 1 face down already, so it just wasn't worth it. So I'm very content with 1, I just hate having it at 1. I love 2. I think Grammel, which I wish should be at 3, or I think should be at 3, I wish it was at 3, but it won't be, ever. So 14 monsters, I think all pretty simple. Spells, 3 Diamond Cores. It's a Rhoda that you banish from your graveyard, and then for the rest of the turn, Cookie Marrows you control. Not currently control, fun fact. But Cookie Marrow monsters you control cannot be destroyed by anything, which is very fun whenever your opponent has that Mirror Force or whatever face down, you just banish this shit. Or if you're going against that Rogue Blackwing or Bujin or something like that, you're worried about their damage step shit, you just banish this out of the graveyard and then attack. And they have to use it because your monsters are going to be bigger than theirs, and you go from there. 3 Lances, great. I don't like main deck MST, I would much rather play Lance. This card's very versatile, it's very good offensively and defensively, just because of the fact that you're going to be able to negate your opponent's... Or I'm sorry, you're not negating anything, what the fuck am I talking about? Like, you damage step Lance them, you could also Lance to get over, like, Mirror Force and whatever. 3 Dualities, Consistency, Staple and Anti-Meta. Book, which, I mean, it's great. I wish it was a 3. Regeki, which should not be a 3, but... I wasn't going to run this, but it gets you out of shit, so... Kept it. Have the traps, 3 calls, this card's broken. This card in this deck is every bit as good as it is in Tellarknights. Yes, I said it. This card, because all the Cookie Mirror monsters tribute themselves as cost. So if you were to go like Chainlink 1, like if you have one of these face down, you go Chainlink 1 tribute, and then you go Chainlink 2, Call the Haunted. So that way this is face up on the field again whenever the chains resolve. That gives your opponent no time to play anything else, activate anything else without you having a direct response to it, which is amazing. So, Call's broken. It's one of the few plus ones you have in the deck. A lot of these are just 1-for-1s, but I think 1-for-1s actually carry you a good way when you're negating everything. And plus a lot of times your opponent's going to screw up, or is going to activate the wrong card, or is going to like try to activate cards that grant what I call invisible pluses, or whatever, which they're paper thin pluses, whatever you want to call it as, just because they don't directly do anything. You can have more monsters than me, that's fine, but if they can't get over my stuff, or if they don't have any direct ways of, like, if it doesn't directly do anything, it doesn't matter. 3 Phoenix Chain, I mean, it's Phoenix Chain. I would much rather play this over Breakthrough because it stops attacks. Ring, Warning, Bottomless, I mean, staples. And there's the side, or the rest of the main is what I call the attack engine. It's 3D Prism, 2 Mirror Force, and a Scrap Iron Scarecrow. Everybody tells me to drop Scrap Iron. I tell them to shut the hell up. This card is broken. It wins me the game so many times. People hate this card. People hate going against this card. What I like about this, though, is that especially with these cards in particular, like if I have this and this, or if I have this, this, and this, I'm going to win. because I can go Scarecrow, like, because they can never get one attack through because I'll just be able to negate it. They have to start overextending into my cards, which is great. Because once they start overextending into shit, I choose what to deprison, I choose what to hit with Mirror Force. I can choose to Scrap Iron one attack and deprison the other attack. I can choose to just Mirror Force, clear everything, summon another monster, and start, attacking. This is another one of those cards that can be a plus. I say that Mirror Force sucks in most decks, and I do agree. I still stand by that, but because I have Guardian to make it useful, and because of stuff in the side deck, which you'll see in a second, excuse me, it makes it more useful because the graveyard effects become less relevant, especially when you're playing decks that have inherent ways of negating effects, like Chimeras do. That's it for monsters. It's, that's it for main deck. It's 40 cards. Extra deck, you got, just ignore this, guys. I barely exceed. Diamond's buddy. 2 Heartland Draco because it's adorable and it's great. I actually just won a game with it today. Great. Crest, Dweller, Rhapsody. Good versus Burning Abyss. So, like if they're chaining their Fire Lakes and all that garbage, like you can just like banish their Fire Lakes, but it doesn't really come up. Castel and Dire. Like people question why don't I just run 2 Castel? It's because of Decree, and if I'm playing like Gravekeepers for Shadowmere and shit like that, I'd rather not give the cards back to them. I like actually getting rid of them and not having to worry about them. And plus, it's really versatile just because it doesn't. You don't always want to spin shit back to the deck. Sometimes you just want to get rid of it. Cowboy, Dark Rebellion, Sea Dragon, Crazy Box. Why? I'd be like, why would you play this? Skill drains of 1. If I have this in my extra deck, I don't need it. If I do have it, or if I don't have it in my extra deck, I automatically need it and I lose because of skill drain. So. And it's not like skill drain hurts me too much, but it's just for those random opportunities. So I wouldn't recommend you to actually play this, but it's just because my luck sucks. And the most important card is the Ab-Zero. It's just
fusion summons.
It's too strong.
Get it out, GG.
Yeah, it's too strong.
Yeah.
So then onto the side deck, the one Ryo. Ryo is great. Just being able to I don't play this in the main because of Burning Abyss and Shadow. But it's great versus Necros, great versus Klee, and all that shit. And it's not bad versus Telenite, too. So, I mean, I just keep it in the side deck. And I'm content with it in the side deck. 2 MSTs, because Decree can suck a dick. 2 Necro Valleys, because, I mean, it's great versus Necros. This is how I want to fight Necros, and this is how I want to fight, like, random Chaos decks and Zectors.
Infernoid.
And yeah, an Infernoid, absolutely. 2 Time Spaces. I've been hyping this card up for, like, 2 formats now. Everybody needs to play this card. It's not the best versus Necros, but it is amazing versus BA, amazing versus Shadow, amazing versus Klee. Like, they pendulum summon 3 monsters, you time space them. It's the same reason why Overload is really good against Klee, because what happens is that with Overload, you tribute it, like if they pendulum 2 or 3 monsters, you tribute this, and then all the monsters go to the graveyard, except with time space, they go back to the deck, but that counts as removal in my book. So either way, you're getting rid of their big threats, so that way Killer never hits board, Stealth never hits board. And even if they do Stealth you or something like that, it's not really that big of a deal because usually you have more than enough back row, so that it doesn't really matter. And also you can overload the summon of a Stealth if you don't have anything else, if you're not worried about Carrier or Helix or anything. So Time Space is really, really powerful. I love it. The 1 copy of Skill Drain. I don't main it because of Burning Abyss and Klee. Obviously it's awful versus Klee, so I just side it. I like it. And the rest of the side is all for BA, and I guess like Infernoids if I play against them. It's 3 banish the Radiance, 2 banish the Light, and then Defisher and Macro. So Burning Abyss is, out of meta decks, Burning Abyss is easily the toughest matchup. And this deck does have a decent Infernoid matchup, but I feel like Guardian doesn't quite do enough. So against Infernoids, I'm siding all of this in. I don't side all of this in against Shadows because I already have an advantage in the Shadow matchup. So I'll side these 2 in, but I'm keeping the rest of this out because I don't need it. I'll have Defisher and Macro. I'll have the Guardians to negate more of their shit. They're not going to side Arrow or Fairy Wind against me, at least if they're a half-competent player, because all that it hits is Call the Haunted and I guess Venus Chain, so it's not really worth it. But under these cards, and I had to argue with so many people at tournaments about this, is that under Banisher, under Light, under Defisher and Macro, you cannot Fire Lake because they have to be sent to the graveyard. It's not like they can get sent. It's not like they can be banished instead. They cannot Fire Lake you. So if they go like Dante, grab a Seer into play, set a Fire Lake, and you drop Banisher on them and set a bunch of backer, you win the game, like flat out. You just it's like throwing an Ab-Zero on the board versus Mermail. Like they have just so much ridiculous trouble getting around that. So I mean, I'll side out like if I'm going against like BA for example, I'll side out like 2 walls for these guys, and I'll side out like 2 of something else. Like usually I'll take out my Call of the Haunteds for these 3 and then something else for these 2, depending on what they're playing. So yep, that's the deck. It's pretty good. I plan on taking it to ARG Ohio this weekend, so Yeah, so that's about it. Any questions?
Nope. Anything you need to say about the deck or not? Really?
Like and fave.
Okay, well, if you guys like the video, hit that like button, rate, comment, subscribe, and we are out.